Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to Anime Symbol. And today I'm going to be giving you part 10 of What If Naruto Was the King of the Curses, Sukuna. Remember to get this one too 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also, guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the brand new episode over on Anime King 2 of What If Naruto Fused with a 12-tailed dragon god. And enjoy that, guys. And remember, if you're new, yes, I indeed have 4 channels, which I post What If on every single day. All the links will be down in the description, so go ahead and smash that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. So without further ado or wasting any more time, what do you say we jump right into this? Begin now, guys. So, a bit of a recap for the last part that we left off. 3 years had passed by since the death of Neji and Sasuke Uchiha, as Naruto had now cemented himself as one of the greater evils of Konoha, and there was no doubt about that. The mere mention of his name caused a lot of anger and resignation to build with the people. After all, he did end the third Hokage as well, so there was a lot of hate. Everyone wanted to rip him apart. Naruto had been busy over the past 3 years. Gaara was deceased. Yes, he was on a mission where his team was attacked and he was taken by none other than Naruto. Naruto was not hiding the fact that he was going after Jinchurikis. He made it rather clear. He went after several others, including the 6 and the 3 tails as well. It got so bad that Taki handed their several tails over to Konoha. After all, they realized that they did not possess the physical might or strength to combat this boy and his army that he seemed to possess. As the Jinchurikis for the Hidden Stone had been kept under lock and key. Yes, even for Kumo as well. The Raikage was not chancing anything, so he sent both of said Jinchurikis away, daring that boy to attack his village so that he could snap his neck. As for Naruto, the Sannin Orochimaru has been running for the past 3 years. Toyoya had betrayed him, and now she was siding with Naruto. Orochimaru had made sure to check everything when it came to the boy, as he wanted to go into a battle prepared. So when the time finally came, Orochimaru faced off against him. Naruto was looking forward to said battle, as the both of them started to clash against one another. Orochimaru used his people first, seeing if they could weigh him down. However, Naruto butchered all of them without a second thought. In mere moments, he then attacked the Sannin. The both of them started to clash against each other. The fight was vicious, ravaging, and dangerous. They started to cause pure mayhem and chaos to everything around them, as they were destroying everything as they move. Naruto was enjoying said fight, judging from the big, happy smile on his face, as he sliced and gutted the Sannin. Orochimaru was baffled. The boy must have been holding back in their previous encounters. He has to have been holding back because there was no possible way someone like this could obtain strength in such a short amount of time, such great and godly strength. Orochimaru actually felt humiliated as Naruto stated that he was going to cut him down like the sly dog that he was. The Sanin was pissed, therefore he activated his 8-headed Hydra technique. He transformed into a monstrous 8-headed snake. As Naruto gazed up towards the titanic beast before he vanished. The battle was something of the legends. As they carved out the entire place, they brought it down to pure destruction. The Sanin released a technique that was similar to a tail beast bomb, and Naruto uses flames, his all-consuming flames. The explosion eviscerated everything around them, wiping it off the map completely. Kabuto Yakushi had arrived at the scene, too late, as he couldn't believe what he came across. As Naruto stood over the Sanin before, he gutted him. He tore Orochimaru limb to limb, before burning him to nothingness, ending the Sanin once and for all. He was gone. Naruto stepped towards Kabuto, who tried to flee, but Naruto grabbed him. However, he didn't kill him. He told him to find a way to get stronger, so that he can get revenge for his master in the future. After all, he would get bored if he didn't have an entertaining fight every now and again. With that, Naruto returned back to his home. Yes, as he sat in his throne, there was many naked women around as they served him. Naruto was not human, he actually ate human. Rami prepared them perfectly. She was also his chef. Teiwaya had grown over the years wonderfully, as she was now indebted and loyal to Naruto, willing to die for him. So was the others as well, as Naruto was on a mission, and he would not slow down. They got the information that he desired. It turns out that the 5 and 4 tails were at the hidden stone but hidden. Naruto was going to bring them out. There was no hesitation on his part. Everything was going so well at the hidden stone until, boom, a live explosion eviscerated everything. Towers, buildings started to fall. As Naruto people, the curses trap in human form, Teiwaya, they started to lay waste to the village. Naruto started to cause more chaos, hoping to bring them out. Han and Roshi, who were secluded here because of the threat, realized if they did not do something, their home would fall, and they refused to let that happen. So both of them came out of hiding. It was the only way. Onoki had to go around putting out fires everywhere, as his people were under attack, a vicious, ruthless attack that was claiming many of their lives. Han and Roshi finally emerged. Once they did, Naruto gave the signal as Teiwaya told them all to flee. He got what he desired, and now it was time for him to truly let loose. And they could not be here for this. After all, if they were, they would all die. Han and Roshi prepared themselves as Onoki flew to the scene, feeling like something was tremendously wrong. We then skipped towards the Akatsuki as they were having a meeting. The threat of the boy had become so great that they needed to put him down. He had gathered a few of the tail beasts. Locations of what he did with them was currently unknown, but they needed to find him immediately. As Itachi Uchiha was also no longer a part of the organization, we then skipped to Itachi. Itachi had lost all hope, all meaning in this thing that they call life. Sasuke was dead. His goal was destroyed. The only thing that Itachi could do for this world before he passed on was bringing Naruto down with him. Yes, he was planning to seal Naruto away forever, so he wouldn't be able to harm anyone ever again. So yeah guys, basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the play, check it for yourself. So what do you say we jump right into this brand new episode begin now guys? The sky was darkened. The saturated chakra was polluting the air, but more so was the cursed energy. Hundreds of voices shouted at the same time. Earth style, encampment wall. Their hands dropping to the ground. A massive level of earth was rose. A wall, a giant locking wall. Moving forward was a massive red beast. He brought the wall down, right on the individual. It was truly devastated. No ninja alive would be able to survive a force like that. Their bones would be crushed. Their skull would be caved in. The massive four-tailed monkey was standing tall. The battle had escalated. The moment Naruto gave the signal for Teiwai and the others to flee, hundreds of stone ninjas came. They combined their attacks, using a massive earth push to launch Naruto out of the village, crashing him in the empty plain of nothing but dried, solid earth. Having no restriction because the village was now safe, Han and Roshi exploded with unbridled power, lava and steam. The 4 and 5-tailed beasts reigned supreme and stood tall. The ninjas rushed towards the outer premise of the village. They surrounded the village like a second lair, and they used their attack, their combination attack, to build such a powerful might. And now, the 4-tailed monkey had brought the wall down on Naruto, squashing him where he stood. Onoki was back at the village, rallying his forces and giving orders. The village had been put through such a quick chaos, he had to make sure things were stable here. As he was barking out orders, forced ninjas to move to secure certain locations, while his forces were holding off the threat. Now that things were calm enough, but nowhere near finished, Onoki blasted towards the battlefield. The massive dolphin horse came down, his hoof crashing in the earth violently to squish out the remains of their opponents. It brought its 5 tails down. The earth shook violently. The massive ape leaped forward and drove its colossal fist into the ground where Naruto lay, further obliterating the place. He then sunk both of his hands into it, forming lava to incinerate everything. The dolphin horse opened his mouth and pushed an insane amount of steam out of it, steam to evaporate and erase anything in its path. They were not holding back, not in the slightest. The ninjas were at awe to see the full might of the both tail beasts combined. There was no way in hell that he could survive anything like that. When the smoke and the dust cleared away, both tail beasts were peering down towards what should be the remains of their opponent. However, nothing was there. They looked around confused, as they could not see anything over where the ninjas resided. All of them were waiting, as they stood like a line around their village, waiting to hear the confirmation that he was dead. That was when they heard laughter. And here I thought that you would not give me the enjoyment I need, but this is magnificent. Several of them turned as fast as they could. However, their life ceased to exist. Heads were removed as Naruto lifted his hand. A single gesture, his slashes came out at an incredible rate. The increase of his strength had made his attacks more violent, more faster. Bodies were dropping like flies. Immediately they started to disengage, blurring through hand sign, earth style, pyramid fall. The ground gave way right under Naruto's feet. Earth style, encampment wall, they said once again, creating a wall overhead this time. They brought it down with such force it should splatter Naruto's body. However, he exploded out with his arms stretched. The ninjas leaped away as a 4-tailed monkey came and drove a fist right towards Naruto, who flipped and landed on the arm. The beast tried to bat him off. As Son Goku was swinging his arm around, but Naruto kept on running until he jumped. His feet lodged in the skull of the beast, knocking it back. Naruto wasn't done as he flipped and grabbed it by the back of the head and yanked. The force was terrible as it crashed hard. However, to everyone's shock and surprise, they heard the malicious laughter once again as the beast was picked up. With great strength, Naruto picked the thing up and launched it towards the Five Tails. The Five Tails braced itself as the Four Tails caught into it. It braced it to catch it. However, Naruto was above them both. Blood splattered as the five-tailed throat was ripped open. So was the side of its face. Naruto then sliced both of its legs. It collapsed down on its haunches. Naruto dropped his feet into its skull, cracking it into the earth. The four-tail tried to move as Naruto flipped and slammed his heel into its throat before he pointed his finger toward its face. The beast screamed out, a violent scream as Naruto shredded its eyes, tearing and shredding them apart with his slices. Naruto leaped up in the air as the beast started to go wild, destroying everything. As Naruto held his hand out, his slashes came like a tsunami. He's demolished. They both roared. Onoki, who was blasting towards the scene at full force, watched as blood splattered everywhere. Countless remaining ninjas tried to rush to their aid. However, Han and Roshi were forced to revert back to normal, unable to withstand the force that Naruto was hitting them with. Naruto landed as he snapped his finger. Two of his agents appeared next to him. Move, now. They grabbed the body and moved as Naruto moved as well. The ground was eviscerated by several attacks. Naruto was in mid-air when he was captured. It's over. Now you die, Onoki said. Naruto was trapped in his particle style. He was going to end it. However, something happened. Onoki's attack went off. However, flames went off next. Onoki was truly baffled, never thinking that he would see something like this. As Naruto was standing on the ground, Naruto had burned through Onoki's attack with ease, completely negating his blast that would have shredded Naruto's entire existence. Onoki flew down his arms, being covered in rock. He swung at Naruto as Naruto ducked and leaped out of the way. He held his hand up as the arms, covered in rocks, were now seen. He had sliced right through them. Onoki tried to raise his defense, however, Naruto slammed a fist into his face, blasting him towards his own people. Naruto leaped into the fray to slaughter him where he stood. However, several of them flashed Yuan sign. They created countless walls. Naruto started to rip and shred through all of them. When he broke through the last one, hundreds, maybe thousands of earth bullets crashed right into him. However, Naruto kept on releasing slashes, one after another, destroying each. Countless bodies start to fall as their heads start to be slashed, their face, everything. Onoki uses particle style like a beam as Naruto shoots flames out of his hands that clash with the technique. His flames seemed to be able to burn anything in its path. It started to burn away Onoki's attack. Onoki could not keep it up as he pushed and pushed and pushed more chakra. Naruto laughed psychotically and released more of his cursing energy. The flame imploded. The blast wiped away half of the forces that stood by. Onoki was on the ground. Half of his body was burned badly. Naruto leaped towards him until he heard something and turned. A strange syrup-like technique crashed right into him. As Naruto landed on the ground, he burned it right off him as he got to his feet. He looked around. Kurosaki, granddaughter of Onoki, stood in front of her grandfather. As the rest of the forces that remained were getting back up, Naruto looked towards them. There was a smile on his face. He then turned and started to walk away, something that confused them. However, Kurosaki was pissed. "Where do you think you're going?" she said, her hand raised. Naruto sliced. Half of her hair, which was already short, was sliced off. Two ninjas behind her was split, their bodies dropping in pieces. Naruto looked towards her with a smile. "I'll see you all soon," he said. With that, he simply moved off with such speed they could not follow. They had to tend to their wounded, and they're dying as well. And Onoki was in bad shape. Time skip. Naruto was standing in front of a strange seal on the ground. Said seal was pulsating unnaturally. He was holding the slashed up bodies of Han and Roshi. He placed their bodies on the seal before dropping his hand in the center. Suddenly, they start to writhe and twist in pain as the seal started to suck the tail pieces out of them. Once it was done, their bodies lie motionless as Naruto kicked them off. A smile was on his face. This seal had been buried over time, countless formations rising. However, it was found by Rami. This seal was what the sage used all those years ago to ensure that no cursed energy could be able to stay on this mortal plane. However, Naruto had thought quick and placed his current army in a human body so that they could link themselves and stay here, while the countless thousands of others were forced to go back. This seal had stay here and traverse through time, no one discovering it until Rame found it. All he needed to do was do the complete opposite of what the sage did, having the power of the tail beasts merge together to form the Jubi, and then counteract it with a seal. Upon doing that, it should be enough to break it. The sage had linked the seal to each of the tail beasts, not the Jubi but from the one tail to the 9 tails, so it would be incredibly difficult for anyone to ever break what he did all those years ago. However, Naruto was so close. There was just 3 other tail beasts left for him to find and place inside of it. Once that was done, as Naruto had a smile on his face. However, something unusual happened because the power was getting so close. Naruto blinked in surprise. Standing there, well, hovering mostly, in a ghostly form, was none other than the sage himself. He did not seem pleased. "Let me guess, even in death, you found a way to link yourself to the tail beasts and perhaps this seal, so that you can make an appearance." However, Naruto pushed his hand right through the man. "Given your current form, there isn't anything that you can do." "Oh, I see. This was not your doing. This is just the power that resided with you. You're able to link yourself to it even beyond the grave. I must say, I'm impressed. The only being that was able to defeat me. Granted, I wasn't at full power. How about you find a way to get back here once I regain my full power, and then we can have a proper match to see who comes out on top this time." The sage shook his head. "After all these years, after all that has happened in the past, a plague like yourself has returned to scar the human world. Yes, a plague like myself has returned. And this time, I'm not only going to scar it." Naruto had a smile on his face. "I'm going to make sure the world becomes what I wanted it to become in the beginning. A cursed land, filled with nothing but chaos and mayhem. With me at the head of this land, ruling it all," said Naruto. "That is when things are going to become a lot more fun. Just like I told you in the past, I am the superior race, not these buffoons with their weak, insignificant lifespan or their weakened flesh. They worship you over the time like you're some sort of god, but you're just a old buffoon of a man who believe that you can keep me locked away forever. But now that I'm back, there isn't a damn thing you can do about it. "Begone," said Naruto. A violent wave of cursed energy sent the sage away as Naruto made his way. Meanwhile, a place beyond the elemental nation, the Sage of Six Paths had been watching it all. He was still connected to the mortal plane by the things that he had left behind, his children, the tail beasts, but with enough of their power gathered, he could access the mortal plane. However, he could only access the location where their power was gathered, and that was because of the seal that he created so long ago. He thought that he could prevent mankind from ever dealing with this danger ever again. This threat was far worse than the Ten Tails, and far greater than his mother, the time that him and Sukuna fought, who is now calling himself Naruto. He was not at full power, and even then, he needed the power of his brother and the power of the Jubi to even come close. And if it wasn't for the time that his brother by him to perform the sealing, he would have lost. And now he's trying to link this world to the spirit world in order to gain his full power, and if he does, the sage doubted that there was anyone on this mortal plane that can put a stop to him. He had to find a way to alert the elemental nation. He had to find a way to alert the world of what is taking place. However, he could not go beyond this place unless he had an idea, a crazy idea. There was a slight percentage that this would work, but maybe, just maybe, he thought to himself, hoping that if any divine being out there, anything that cure for the human race, this world, they would allow him to get through. Time skip. The attack on the hidden stone had hit public news. The elemental nation was placed in a state of panic. This was worse than they thought, and now he had 6 out of the 9 tail beasts. Tsunade need to speak with them. She need to speak with all the leaders. They need to combine their forces. This boy is a threat that the elemental nation has not seen before, given all that she's heard about him from Kakashi mostly. This boy is a danger, a truly benevolent demon that just wished to cause chaos and destruction. They need to speak immediately. So she did what she had to. She made contact with the other Kages, prompting a meeting between them all. They need to talk. Now, days pass, and Tsunade was conflicted. Every single time she shut her eyes, she had dreams. Countless. These dreams, every single time it was Dan. Dan. He was calling out to her, telling her to meet him. She knew the location. It was not far away from here. It was actually close by. She had no idea why. They seemed so real. He wanted to speak to her, telling her that it was urgent. He needed to talk to her. Tsunade was confused. Maybe she should just go and check it out to see if she was going crazy or if something was truly going on. She wasn't under any hallucination or anything like that. But Dan, he just kept on calling out to her, saying that he needed to speak to her. And it was truly becoming rather bothering. Time skip. Tsunade had her people survey the area. They came back with nothing. She had been keeping Danzo on a tight leash, but Danzo had nothing to do with this. She decided to go and check it out herself. When she arrived there, it was an old Uchiha post. Now that was confusing. There wasn't anyone here, no one at all. Maybe she was just losing her touch on reality. Now of all times, Tsunade heard something. She turned her gaze and focused, waiting for the person to enter. Said person enter and she was shocked. She couldn't believe who she was laying eyes on. Itachi? She said with surprise, written all over her face. Itachi Uchiha stood there. Flashback. Itachi had to sleep. Despite his hunt for Naruto, he had to sleep. However, something was wrong with him. Every single time he closed his eyes, even when he just drifted off, Sasuke would come to him, begging him to come somewhere. It was an old Uchiha post, saying that they needed to talk. He begged and pleaded with him. Itachi was not in a good state of mind. He was mentally broken at the moment. And having this, he needed to see if this was something that he could do to help his brother. He knew that that was a far-fetched, but he just had to. He doesn't really care anymore if it's a setup, if his death is near. He spent the last 3 years searching for Naruto, and nothing. Maybe it was just not in his future to find Naruto and get revenge. In the flashback, Itachi was truly baffled to see none other than the Hokage hero of all person. Tsunade was on guard, readying herself. So it's you, she said, clenching her fists. Me? Don't play naive with me, boy, she said. Somehow, you got in the village. You're the one that has been tampering my dreams. Wait, that's happening to you as well? Tsunade blinked. What did you just say? I've been having dreams about my brother, telling me to come here. You've been having dreams as well? Wait, so this isn't you? She said, her gaze narrowed. No. My brother kept on telling me to come here, begging me, saying that I need to come here. I don't know why. Why would the both of us have dreams about someone we care about that is now deceased, telling us to come to this specific location? A old Uchiha post. What are you up to? I swear. I did nothing, he said to her. Tsunade was, of course, not trusting him, but something was wrong. His eyes, they looked so empty and dead. Could he be upset about Sasuke's death? After all he did to that clan. After all he did to Sasuke, could he really be upset about that? Itachi stepped forward. Tsunade was baffled how he let his guard down around her, like he did not care. You do know that I am the Hokage of the Leaf Village, and you're a wanted criminal right in front of me, correct? Yes, he said, looking around. However, I'm sure that you also want to find the reason of what is going on. So if you do intend to attack me, go right ahead. I don't know what you're playing at, but don't think I'm gonna. Tsunade grabbed Itachi. She paused though. When they made contact, she felt something. She tried to pull her hand back, but she could not. What the hell? What are you doing? She said. Swinging her other fist, Itachi ducked underneath it and grabbed it with his own. His instincts just kicking in. He held onto her hand and suddenly, he could not break free. What is this? What are you doing? She said to him. This isn't me, he said, as he tried to break apart. Tsunade had her envelopes over the area, but they were on her part. She knew if she needed them, she could call them, but she could see the clear confusion in his face. This wasn't him. Suddenly there was a warm sensation that spread between them both, and they separated. Immediately the envoys started to come to the area, feeling what was taking place. However, the both of them vanished as the envoys enter. Tsunade and Itachi blinked. They found themselves in a strange location. They were confused as they looked around. Where am I? Is this some genjutsu? She said, looking towards the traitor. This is not me, he said once again. It is me. The both of them turned. I sincerely apologize for toying with your emotions by using your loved ones. It was the only way I believe that I could bring you both out here. Who the hell are you? Said Tsunade. Your people refer to me as the Sage of Six Path. Both of them blink in shock. I do not have much time. I can't keep you here for too long, but I need to talk to the both of you. This concern this entire world and the human race surviving for the next couple of years. Because if it's not stopped, mankind would cease to exist or be enslaved. What are you talking about? I believe you know him as Naruto. Naruto? How do you... Itachi was cut off. His true name is Sukuna. He's the king of all curses. They worship him as a god. Please don't interrupt. A long time ago, when I walked the earth, his kind and himself was able to break through the plane of existence that is beyond this one to get to our space of living. The both of them were shocked to what they were hearing. He, unlike them, his form was far stronger. They were all curses, but he was a king and god of curses. He wanted to enslave mankind, to open the rift large enough for all of his cursed spirits to come over and conquer this world. We fought for countless hours, going on into days and weeks. The world was almost eradicated. I needed help. I could not defeat him on my own. I had the power of the Jubi, the combination of all 9 tails. Fusing them all together creates the 10 tail, a beast far more destructive and seek chaos and destruction. I was able to tame and seal said beast inside of my body. Upon doing so, I harnessed its power along with my brother by my side, along with all the people I share ninja with, chakra. They released their chakra upon all of us, empowering us to fight on, time after time. Even then he was grand, and he could not be killed, so I had to seal him away. I used a very powerful seal to banish all the cursed spirits back to the spirit land, but he would not go. He had fused himself to this earth, spiritually, with his cursed energy. So instead I stripped him. I placed a percentage of his power in each of the tail beasts. So as you can see, he's hunting for them right now to regain his full power and to use them to open the rift. And once he does, mankind won't be able to stand up to him. That is why you must all strike right now, while he's still weak. That is the only chance that you possess to end his life. If he's not stopped, the whole world as we know it will cease to exist as it is at the moment. Mankind will no longer be the superior race, and these cursed spirits are truly a heinous creation of anything. I was able to make contact with you too because of the 2 part of my blood that you share, which is now known as the Senju and the Uchiha. Time is running out. I am aware of the state of the world at the moment. I know it will be hard to convince the others. He appeared in front of them and touched their skull. That is what you will need. They will be able to witness. If they do not take a stand now, they will see what the world will turn into as it did all those years ago. And this is where he's located. He sent the images in their mind. That is where he is at the moment. Wait, how are we supposed to stop him if you weren't able to do it all those years ago? Unlike back then, he's a lot weaker. A lot of his power is still trapped away with the remaining tail beasts. So I believe there's a chance. With all of you united, he can be killed. The fate of the world rests in your hands. Both Itachi and Tsunade were brought back to the location. They opened their eyes. The envoys, who remained behind the others who were scouring the place, were shocked. Blades were drawn immediately. "Stop!" Tsunade said. They were surprised. "Go. Now," she said. Itachi used speed to sunshine away. "Do not follow him," she said to them. All of them looked towards her. They were rather shocked to what she was saying to them. That was Itachi Uchiha. "We have bigger problems. Gather the others. Now." The sage believed that this should be enough. However, given past encounters, he was not so sure. There was something else that he could try, but he was not sure if it was going to work. This one was a bit more difficult even though they had the same eyes. But he had to try gathering his residual energy. Once he did this, he wouldn't be able to observe or see what happened for who knows how long. Maybe this will completely erase him forever. He did not know. However, he had to do it in order to make sure humanity lives on. He had to do it. There was no other way. He's been watching for 3 years now, unable to do a damn thing. The moment that Naruto had activated the seal, he has been able to watch and learn everything that has happened since his disappearance throughout the ages. And he was disappointed how mankind had twisted and polluted Ninshu into something horrendous. They used chakra for violence and war, and he despised that, but there were still many that did not deserve the wrath of what was going to come. Countless of innocents that did not deserve to be slaughtered like lamb. And he knew that monster would slaughter them all. Meanwhile, at the Hidden Rain, it all happened so sudden. One moment he was in his mechanical walker. The next moment his eyes start to pulsate, and his vision took him somewhere else. His body remained, but his eyes showed him a world and someone else. Nagato Uzumaki, the current leader of the organization known as the Akatsuki, was confused on what was going on where he was. That is when he saw the progenitor of it all. By just a single glance, he could tell who this man was. Their eyes, they were connected. How was this possible? It worked. The sage said, "We need to speak immediately." Time skip. Itachi finally got what he wanted. He was doing the world a favor. It turns out this abomination was far worse than he could have ever thought. This abomination need to be erased. However, if he failed, the elemental nation coming together under one banner to fight a monster should fix this accursed world, and they should be able to end his existence. Itachi wasted no time heading towards the location that the sage had implanted in the both of their mind, planning to end Naruto by sealing him away, and this time permanently. Itachi ran and ran and ran and ran until he was exhausted. When he rests, he eated. He made sure that he was fully prepared because he knew that this battle would take everything that he's got, and he did not want to go into it weakened. He was trying to give humanity a fighting chance. Meanwhile, the only people that were here with Naruto were the girls. The naked ones that brought him his feasts, Urame, Teiwaya, and all the other cursed spirits. They were nowhere to be seen. That was odd, but Naruto was up to something. He was currently relaxing. Yes, leaning back and relaxing. There was a smile on his face as usual. He was calm. He was surprised though, that he was found out. He would have never expected. Stepping out to the throne room, Naruto made his way outside. He was on a rather tall cliff, where the gigantic fortress that he resided in was situated on. He walked down, calmly making his way before he started to skid and leap as he crashed. He folded his arms, gazing down towards the area below him, waiting, observing. Immediately, Naruto leaped as he heard Amaterasu. The black flames consumed the area, swallowing it whole as Naruto landed. Countless shurikens and kunais headed his way. Naruto slapped them away like they were toys. His body was far too durable for that to affect him. He recently devoured 2 other fingers. His power it had grown immensely. I'm surprised that you found me. I was torturing you by allowing you to come close every time, then evade you as I did. Let me guess, you're here to get revenge for what I did to your brother. Yes, I am Sukuna. Sukuna? Now how do you know that name? Said Naruto as he turned towards Itachi. I know a lot. I know what you are, and I know that you're weak. I won't allow you to achieve what you desire. You took everything away from me, and now I'll do the same to you. Is that so? Said Naruto. So, seems like someone has been feeding you information. But you want to know something? I don't care. Know what you want to know. That does not bother me in the slightest. Let me tell you what's gonna happen. I'm gonna chop you up into tiny pieces, and I'm gonna eat you. Naruto said with a smile. I always wonder what a Uchiha tastes like. Given how broody you guys are, maybe it will make your meat taste different, wouldn't you say? Itachi leapt into action. Blood leaked from his eye. Amaterasu. This time the flames caught onto Naruto's hand. Naruto looked toward his hand when Itachi aimed to kick his head clean off. The force sent Naruto sailing as he crashed. Naruto gripped his elbow and tore it off, the remaining hand collapsing down to the ground. His hand immediately regrew. Naruto caught Itachi's leg and threw him away. When he looked towards his hand to see several exploded tags. Boom! The right side of his body was swallowed in the explosion. Naruto burst out of the smoke. Itachi tried to step back until Naruto's fist buried into his guts. He punched and slammed Itachi right across the wall. The Uchiha bounced across it like a pinball. Naruto leaped in the sky before launching several tiny flames down towards him. They packed quite the punch. A violent eruption of flames went off when they made contact, but Itachi was gone. He was up to something as Naruto landed. Naruto looked down to see more exploding tags. Boom! They went off, eviscerating the area. Naruto stepped out of the smoke. Tsukuyomi. Their eyes made contact. Naruto found himself pinned to a cross. Itachi appeared in front of him. This is for Sasuke, he said. He drive a blade in Naruto's stomach. Another Itachi arrived and drive one in his side. Is that all you got? Said Naruto. I must say, this is nothing that I haven't experienced before. To be quite exact, on the pain threshold, going to 100, I'll give this a 2. A violent eruption of cursed energy shattered the Tsukuyomi world. Itachi was launched back by just the force alone. Naruto appeared behind him and kicked him in the back, almost shattering his spine. The Uchiha Genjutsus could not work on Naruto. Not at all. His techniques only got through because Naruto allowed it to get through, because he was toying with him. Itachi, was also making a plan though, waiting for the exact moment. He wanted to torture Naruto for what he did to Sasuke, but he needed to get his head in the game. He cannot afford to waste any more time. Naruto blinked as a violent monstrosity formed in front of him. You have one of these as well. The last person I saw use this was a sage. Yours look weaker though, said Naruto. The blade came down but Naruto was gone. Naruto appeared and slammed his foot in the shield of the Susanoo. However, it stood. It withstood his slam. Naruto punched it. The shield slammed into him, throwing him away. Naruto bounced across the wall before launching himself. This time his face was covered by cursed energy. Something unusual happened. There was a black flash. The shield that was supposed to hold up against anything and reflect anything suddenly exploded. Half of the Susanoo broke apart. Itachi started to cough up blood as he was shocked. Naruto burst right through. However, Itachi layered himself with the Susanoo internally. Naruto's fist did not break through this time. Itachi leaped away as he was coughing up blood. Not doing so good, huh? Here I thought when we finally meet, you would put up a better fight. But I must say, this is not very impressive. The blade slammed down into the ground but Naruto was in mid-air. That was until a section of the blade shot upwards. It slammed into Naruto. Is that all you got? Itachi looked up with a smirk. Blood was leaking down his lips, his eyes could barely see. It's over, he said, breathing heavily. What are you talking about? This is no normal blade. The Tatsuka blade. It will take you along with me. My life is going to end, one way or another. But at least it can end with me knowing that you are no longer a threat to this world. What? Said Naruto as he started to be pulled. He tried to resist. You cannot stop this. It's over, Sukuna. It's time for you to go away. All of your plans are failing right in front of your eyes. Just like what you did to me. By killing Sasuke. Say goodbye to this world. You really think that your stupid blade can hold me? You foolish Uchiha. Itachi started to pull and pull until it sucked Naruto inside. Now, his soul, his entire being was sealed in the bottom of the Tatsuka blade. Itachi collapsed to his knees. The Susanoo fading. It's over. Crack. Itachi blinked. Suddenly, Itachi was shocked. A monstrous, violent explosion swallowed the entire place. Itachi was launched off the cliff. However, something grabbed him by the face and slammed him into another. His body pressed up against it. He was sure that his spine had been snapped by the force. The back of his head was bleeding tremendously. I told you, your stupid seal could not hold me. But I must give you props. If this was me a few years ago, without consuming back my power, I would have been locked away. But you're too late. And besides, my cursed energy is at least 10 times stronger than your pathetic chakra. And now that most of my power has returned, don't compare me to your pathetic race of humans. Naruto said, picking up Itachi by his throat. Now, Naruto said, resting his hand on his chest. I can't afford for you to be in bad shape. After all, you're going to make one hell of a tasty meal. Naruto pushed his hand in Itachi's chest. The Uchiha coughed up blood as his eyes faded back to normal. Just like your pathetic younger brother. Die. Naruto tore his heart clean out. Itachi's eyes gaze upon Naruto for the last time. He failed. Yet, as he was dying, he felt so released. He was finally leaving this world. Something that he's wanted for the longest time now. It was just a shame that Sasuke couldn't live. I leave the rest in your hands. His prayers and thoughts go towards Tsunade. Naruto grabbed the body of Itachi and pulled him away as he brought him towards his location. The death of Itachi going unknown to many. He failed. In his last-ditch effort, he gave it his all, his seal, his Amaterasu, everything, but he failed. The world has to come together and join forces. Otherwise, everything will be for naught. Meanwhile, at the Hidden Rain, Nagato's eyes were now just adjusting back to reality. Where did you go? What happened a moment ago, said Konan, as she stood there. I met someone. Who? Konan said, confused. The Sage of Six Paths. What? She said, still not understanding what the hell he was talking about, as she looked at the man, confused. However, the look on his face, Nagato was frightened. Yes, he was truly frightened. No, that was not normal in the slightest. He being frightened of something. What he saw had truly frightened him. Time skip. The urgency Tsunade had sent out to the other nations. She made sure that they know. If they did not meet, a world-threatening disaster of the Tail Beast Hunter was taking place at the moment. She needed to speak with them. They sense a threat. All of them, except for the Raikage being someone that lost a Jinchuriki. But the Raikage also attended. This meeting was set for 3 days after the announcement was made. Not a week, 3 days. 3 days for them to gather what they could and head towards the Land of Iron. She also sent word to Mifune as well. They had to do this fast. She had to speak to each of them. This was urgent, and they had no time to waste. Meanwhile, she's been here for some time. The people here was nice. They were pretty nice. She was a Jinchuriki of the Seven Tails. Fu. Shibuki had told her that she needed to come here, as he could not protect her. He was rather shameful to say that, but he could not protect her, and he just wanted her to be safe. The moment the threat was finished, she would return back home. She had said goodbye to the small friends that she had. She was a Jinchuriki. Life for Jinchurikis were really hard, but Shibuki just wanted to make sure that she was okay. But she wanted to return back home, but the threat was still out there. He was also a Jinchuriki like her. But that was where the similarities ended. He was a monster. He's killed so many. Yes, a true monster if there was one. Fu heard something, as there was some commotion outside from where she was. She knew that she was somewhere deep underground. Suddenly, someone burst into her room. She's seen this person before. What's going on, said Fu. He's here. What? He was somehow able to get through. He's here. Come with me. We have to go, the Kunoichi said to her. Okay, said Fu, as she got up and started to run with the woman. Where are we going? We're bringing you somewhere safe. Fu arrived to an open area, where she saw a few bodies ripped apart. Some of them torn limb from limb. She was hit in the back of the neck, as she was caught. She was then picked up by the man that was pretending to be a woman. Some of the cursed energies retained their abilities that they possess, despite the host that they were placed in thousands of years ago. Throughout the years, their bodies had been so entwined with the hosts that their abilities start to show, such as duplicating one after devouring a piece of their flesh. Yes, the reason why Naruto people were not at the location was simple. He sent them to get the seven tails, while he was waiting on confirmation for the location of the 8 and 2 tails. They had weeks to do this, sneak into Konoha, and kill more higher ups. The more higher ups they kill, the more they devour and turn into them, and then kill someone higher up until they got information on the 7th tail, getting close to the Hokage herself. The ability was untraceable. After all, they weren't dealing with chakra. They were dealing with cursed energy. And these few cursed spirits were special, handpicked by Naruto to complete this mission. So the 7 tails is now captured. Time to get out of here without setting any alarms off. Today was actually the day that Tsunade was heading out. So she left without being aware that the 7 tails was kept under lock and key and was already taken by the one person that should not have the 7 tails. While that was going on though, they were coming for him. Yes, they were. All the remaining members of the Akatsuki were making their way. Even Nagato himself in his mechanical walker, bringing the 6 paths of pain. He had no choice. The threat was greater than any of them could imagine. He also spoke to the masked man. They have to stop their current goal for peace for the world, to combine their forces to bring down the disaster that was currently festering right under their noses. Naruto, who sat in his throne, was simply relaxing, unaware of any of this going on. However, even if he was, he wouldn't care. As the 7 tails was brought to him, a smile on his face, another successful retrieval, another big boost in his power. So if they were coming, he would simply say, let them come. It would be fun. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see the next part and do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification say posted. But I'm off now. See you guys soon. Peace.